Mr. Vice President, I'll tell you the truth. You don't go to the North Side. You come over like George Washington, and I send you back like Abraham Lincoln. Frank Sinatra wasn't merely a performer. His blue eyes and voice defined a generation. He was a legend who had power, charisma, and mystery all in one. So when he died in 1998, people thought that the best actors and actresses in Hollywood would go up to pay their respects. But something didn't feel right when the cameras scanned the throng. A few of Sinatra's closest famous friends had died. There were no flowers, no goodbye, and no words, as if they had erased him from their minds. So what really went down? And why did these stars choose to be quiet instead of respectful? Stay with us because what you think is true is far more surprising. Marlon Brando is number one. The Mumbles conflict that never stopped. Hollywood was most startled by the absence of Marlon Brando. Their fight was not only personal, but also embarrassing, and it continued for more than 40 years. The war started in 1955 on the set of Guys and Dolls, when Sinatra fought hard for the part of Sky Masterson, which he thought was perfect for him. Instead, the studio gave the part to Brando, an actor who had never worked in music before and was known for his quiet, introverted method acting. Sinatra didn't just feel left out. He felt like he was being publicly belittled. He was angry from the start. Sinatra made fun of Brando's speech, his self-reflection, and his inability to act off camera, calling him mumbles in front of the cast and crew. Brando didn't yell back. He fought in his head. The cheesecake scene that everyone knows about turned into a power play. Brando knew that Sinatra hated cheesecake, so he botched take after take on purpose, making Sinatra eat slice after slice under studio pressure. By the end of the day, Sinatra was sick and filming had to stop. Later, crew members remembered Brando watching quietly and being happy. The stress never went away. They wouldn't talk to each other directly. They only talked through other people. Brando told friends years later that he thought Sinatra's wrath had gotten out of hand. Brando said he was temporarily kidnapped and threatened in Los Angeles late at night. He privately thought Sinatra was behind the threats. Brando later summed up the relationship in a way that was very clear. Frank never forgave anyone. That wasn't anger. It was giving up. They never made up. They never said they were sorry to each other. Brando didn't say anything, send flowers, or go to the funeral when Sinatra died in 1998. His absence wasn't a sign. It was proof that some wars don't really end. Woody Allen is number two. The one scandal that really hurt Sinatra. Woody Allen was not Rat Pack. He wasn't a part of the lounge scene. But there is a darker reason why his name is connected to Sinatra's burial story. Mia Farrow. His link came through Mia Farrow, Sinatra's ex-wife, who many say was the only person he ever stopped protecting. Their marriage in the early 1960s didn't last long, but it was very important to them. Even after their divorce, Sinatra stayed very close to Farrow. He kept in touch with her and helped her with her relationships and career. When Farrow found out in 1992 that Allen had been covertly dating her adopted daughter Suni Praven, Sinatra was more than just angry. Friends said he was crazy with rage. He didn't think this was rumor. There was betrayal in his large family. Since the 1940s, biographers and friends have said that Sinatra looked into getting back at people using connections he had made in the underground. One of Sinatra's longtime friends later said that Sinatra wanted Allen to be terrified straight or worse. Organized crime officials are said to have turned down the offer because they thought hurting a well-known filmmaker would be too risky. Sinatra is claimed to have declared, "You don't hurt the people I love and get away with it." That sentence was important because many thought Sinatra meant it, whether he did or not. Allen also knew it. It didn't matter if Sinatra meant serious violence or only to scare people, the threat felt real. Any goodwill that was left disappeared right away. There were no attempts to make up, no middlemen, and no softening over time. Allen was already in the middle of a public scandal and legal trouble by the end of the 1990s. People might have thought that showing up to Sinatra's funeral was rude, hypocritical, or arrogant. More significantly, it could start a fight that Allen had every motive to keep quiet. When Sinatra died, Allen stayed far away, not because he didn't care, but because he wanted to be safe. So, this one ended in silence because it was safer that way. 3. Nancy Reagan, when politics ruined a friendship. Nancy Reagan's absence hurt the most for those whose connection with Frank Sinatra fell apart beyond repair. It seemed more like betrayal than open hostility. Frank Sinatra thought for years that he wasn't only a fan of Ronald Reagan, he thought he was helping to construct the Reagan dynasty. Sinatra gave Reagan money, famous friends, and his own prestige to help him climb to power in politics starting in the middle of the 1960s. He held fancy fundraising galas at his Palm Springs mansion, called donors personally, and publicly supported Reagan when Hollywood liberals were skeptical of him. Sinatra didn't play it safe. He put everything on the line. At first, Nancy Reagan liked that loyalty. People who knew them well remembered extended phone talks and a closeness that went beyond politics. People didn't regard Sinatra like a donor. People treated him like family. That closeness made what happened next much worse. When Reagan became president in 1981, things altered nearly right away. Sinatra thought he would still be able to go in and be respected. Instead, he was quietly left out. No more invitations. No one answered the phone. The official reason was worry over Sinatra's supposed ties to the mob and his volatile mood. The new administration didn't want any debts near the Oval Office. Sinatra felt like he had been erased in public. He was really angry in private. He told close friends, "They used me and then got rid of me." This wasn't a letdown in politics. It was a betrayal of trust. Sinatra had put his name on the line for Reagan, but once he got the job, he was treated like a joke. Nancy Reagan never said anything bad about Sinatra in public, but she also never tried to make up with him. That stillness was important. Many people thought it was strange that she didn't go to Sinatra's funeral in May 1998 because she had other plans. Former aides quietly said that the relationship had never been fixed. Barbra Streisand is number 4. Respect without forgiveness. Barbra Streisand is fourth on the list of people with personal tension and unresolved discomfort. This is not because she despised Frank Sinatra, but because she wouldn't forgive him. Streisand had a lot of admiration for Sinatra's art. She learned how to sing by watching him and paying attention to his phrasing, timing, and emotional control. Because they respected each other, they worked together on duets in 1993, such the popular song, "I've Got a Crush on You." The match was perfect for the music. For me, it was far away. Strarian was frank about being wary of Sinatra's behavior off stage, which was not the case for many singers of his period. She didn't like how quickly he got angry, how often he emotionally manipulated people, or the accusations that were coming out about his ties to organized crime. Strarian is said to have informed a buddy at an industry dinner that someone could be really kind, but being nice with conditions isn't nice. That difference was important to her. It made sense that she kept Sinatra at a distance, even if she praised his work. They just talked to each other in a professional way. They never hung out together outside of work, so they never got the casual warmth that Sinatra had with other people. Stryan liked the voice, not the person. Streisand didn't go to Sinatra's funeral after he died. She instead put out a short statement praising his musical contributions and then left it at that. She thought it was dishonest to mourn in public. She thought that respect didn't need to be close and forgiveness didn't need to be there. Dean Martin is number 5. The friendship that died. Dean Martin's choice not to go to Frank Sinatra's burial was the last straw. More than any public fight, it hurt supporters. People thought Sinatra and Martin were always together. The smiling heart of the Rat Pack and the sound of clapping under neon lights. The friendship was much weaker behind closed doors. Martin put up with it for years because he was devoted, but Sinatra's anger kept getting him into trouble that may harm his name and peace. The breaking point was at the Polo Lounge in the Beverly Hills Hotel in the
Early hours of June 8, 1966. After a fight with businessman Frederick Weissman, what started as a birthday party turned violent. People said bad things to one another. There was a fight. Weissman had a broken skull and was taken to intensive care right away. The police asked everyone who was there questions. Martin said in public that he saw nothing, but he told his daughter in private that Sinatra had lost it. He never directly accused him, but he also never stood up for him. That quiet was a sign of change. Martin started to pull away from that night on. He stopped going to late night parties. He said no to joint appearances. He stayed away from instances when Sinatra's temper would flare up. Martin told a reporter in an unusual moment of honesty, "Frank lives in storms." No, I don't. This statement wasn't mean. It was tired. Their contacts had become more formal by the 1970s. The laughter was less funny. There was no more improvisation. People who were close to Martin saw that he didn't want to go on the Together Again tour in 1988, even if it didn't go well. He quit the tour early because of health problems, but friends said the emotional toll was almost as bad. Martin's absence after Sinatra died in 1998 wasn't because he was angry. It was the quiet end of a friendship that had run its course long before death came. That's it for today's video. Which absence surprised you the most? Was it the competition, the treachery, or the silence that said volumes? Do you think Frank Sinatra should have been forgiven? Or did his grudges end his story? Please leave a remark with your opinions. If this story shocked you, please like the video and subscribe for more Hollywood secrets.